You ever hear that saying, don't poke the bear? Well, let me tell you a story about a group of people who not only poked the bear, they kicked it, mocked it, and tried to find it into submission. And in the end, they learned that even the quietest man on the block has his limits. My name's Chuck Delaney, 67 years old, retired. I spent 4 decades under the hood of cars, busting my knuckles, getting grease in places soap can't touch, and fixing problems nobody else could figure out. I wasn't flashy, didn't care for office politics, never asked for much. Just want a little peace in my later years. A quiet place to enjoy my coffee, maybe bring an old Mustang back to life, and stay out of people's way. That's why I moved to Fairhaven Hills. Gated community, tree-lined streets, friendly-looking houses with flower beds and little flags. On the surface, it was everything you'd want in a retirement spot. The kind of neighborhood where people waved as they walked their golden retrievers and borrowed sugar from each other. But there was one thing I didn't count on: the HOA. Now, I knew what an HOA was. I'd heard the stories: petty rules, nosy neighbors, the occasional fine for having weeds 2 inches too tall. But I figured, hey, I'm not looking to cause any trouble. I keep my lawn trimmed. I don't throw parties. I'm just an old guy with a toolbox and a love for vintage engines. Boy, was I wrong. It started with a note taped to my door. Dear Mr. Delaney, your garbage cans were visible from the street after pickup. This is a violation of Fairhaven Ordinance 14B. Fine, $50. Okay, no big deal. I forgot to roll them in. I paid it. Moved on. Then came another. Your mailbox has peeling paint. That is not in compliance with the community's visual standards. Fine, $75. Seriously? My mailbox? I didn't even bother contesting it. Just touched it up and paid the fine. But it didn't stop. Unauthorized wind chimes. Unapproved garden gnome. Garage door left open too long. It was like they were watching me. Every time I stepped outside, I felt eyes on me. Not friendly eyes either. The kind that were just waiting for you to trip up. The president of the HOA was a guy named Martin Kellerman. Retired insurance lawyer. Always wore polos with his initials monogrammed on the chest. Walked like he owned the place. And maybe, in his mind, he did. He once stopped me during a walk and said, Chuck, we just want to make sure the neighborhood maintains a certain standard. Nothing personal. Nothing personal? I'd racked up over $600 in fines in 3 months. And then it got worse. See, I'd been restoring a 1969 Mustang fastback. Cherry red. Thing was a beauty, but she needed work. I kept the garage door open while I worked. You know, for ventilation. And because it's hot as sin in there come June. Next thing I know, I get a certified letter. Visible automotive repair in progress. Violation of Ordinance 22C. Fine, $300. That was the last straw. I went down to the HOA office, which was really just a converted room in Martin's house, and demanded to speak with someone. He met me at the door with that smug little smirk. I told him, Martin, I'm not out here rebuilding monster trucks. I'm fixing up a classic car. In my own damn garage. He said, and I quote, Chuck, if you don't like the rules, maybe this neighborhood just isn't a good fit for you. He shut the door in my face. I walked home furious, and I stayed that way. For a while, I thought about selling the place, moving somewhere with fewer rules and less HOA nonsense. But the more I thought about it, the angrier I got. I'd serve my time, pay my taxes, work my whole life. I earned my right to tinker with a Mustang in peace. So I decided I wasn't going anywhere. Instead, I got to work. I read every page of the HOA bylaws. All 143 pages of legal mumbo-jumbo, packed with rules about lawn height, acceptable paint colors, even a section about flag protocol. Buried in the back, past all the nonsense, I found it. A clause. Small, easy to miss, but it was there. Any member in good standing may initiate a recall election of the HOA board by collecting signatures from 51% of homeowners. That was my golden ticket. I printed out the forms, put on my old work boots, and started knocking on doors. I wasn't sure how people would respond. I mean, I wasn't exactly Mr. Social in the neighborhood. But the moment I started talking, it was like opening a floodgate. People were fed up. One woman had been fined for her daughter drawing with chalk on the sidewalk. Another had been written up because her Christmas lights stayed up 2 days past the HOA deadline. There was even a guy who got dinged for leaving his bike leaning against his own house. Within 2 weeks, I had signatures from 62% of the neighborhood. And let me tell you, getting those last few was the best cardio I'd done in years. When I submitted the petition, Martin tried to weasel his way out of it. Said some of the signatures didn't match official records. Claimed I was harassing residents. But I'd filmed myself getting every single one. No loophole. No way out. He was forced to schedule a special election. And you better believe I ran. At the debate, which, let's be honest, was just folding chairs in the clubhouse, I told people exactly what I stood for. Fair rules, transparency, and the right to fix your damn car without being treated like a criminal. Martin called me a loose cannon with a wrench. Said I was trying to destroy the community's image. But when the votes came in, it wasn't even close. Not only did I win president, but 2 other board members were voted out right alongside him. First order of business? Wipe out every fine issued in the past 12 months that wasn't a real safety concern. Next, rewrite the bylaws. Now kids can draw chalk. Flags are welcome. Garage doors can be opened during active work. And as for car restoration, it's proudly listed under approved homeowner activities. Martin? He moved out a couple months later. Rumor is he's now head of an HOA in some condo in Florida. Good luck to them. As for me, I finished that Mustang. She purrs like a dream now. And every Sunday, I roll her out into the driveway, pop the hood, and polish the chrome. No more notes. No more fines. Just the sweet sound of freedom and a V8 engine in the sun. So yeah, don't poke the bear. Because sometimes the bear runs for office and wins.